Huge developments are being made to President Biden's bill. Schumer has proposed a brand new relief plan to provide millions of people with extra checks. Stay tuned to find out the most important stimulus news and Social Security information. Now, many homeowners have...
And by the way, there are a lot of jobs coming to people that you're going to need to train up people, thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Everybody knew, and you heard from my secretary a little bit earlier, America is falling behind in infrastructure. We used to be #1 in the world. We're now #8. But now, not only has Infrastructure Week finally arrived, we're talking about infrastructure decade, not week.
Experienced income loss in the course of the crisis, and while some may have recovered from the events over the past 2 years, other homeowners might still be struggling to keep up with their housing payments, especially in light of recent inflation. Early on in the crisis, homeowners were given the option to hit pause on their mortgage payments via a process known as forbearance, but that option expired after 18 months with mortgage, which means mortgage borrowers who took advantage of it early may have exhausted that relief months ago. The good news, though, is that there is still relief available for homeowners who are struggling to pay their household expenses, and some homeowners could be eligible for as much as $80,000 in aid. While certain protections like mortgage forbearance have largely run out at this stage of the game, there is still some available relief for property owners. That fund has a good $10 billion available to pay to homeowners who are behind on their mortgages and other housing-related expenses, as was the case with rental assistance funds. Money from the Homeowners Assistance Fund will be given out at the state level, but eligible recipients will be in line for anywhere from $15,000 to $80,000. That money can cover expenses including mortgage payments, property tax bills, and homeowner insurance fees. And many of you are wondering who is eligible for the housing aid. To qualify for aid under the program, homeowners will still need to show that they experienced a financial hardship related to the crisis. They will also need to have a household income that's below 150% of their area's median income. Applicants will also have to show proof that they've fallen behind on their housing payments already. This means that those who are at risk of missing a mortgage payment but haven't actually done so can still qualify. Since the program is being run at the state level, the application process can vary from state to state. The National Council of State Housing Agencies has an official map where those looking for aid can learn about how to apply in their respective states. Those seeking aid should still be aware that not every state has started the application process yet. But anyone in need of assistance should not hesitate to start exploring their options immediately. And Chuck Schumer gave an official signal of a revival of Democrats' legislative agenda, announcing hearings on proposals to deal with spiking inflation. Schumer's letter to his colleagues makes it clear that he takes a step forward to revive the spending plan that might be more in line with the parameters of Joe Manchin. Schumer said in reconciliation, Senate Democrats have introduced additional legislative proposals to lowering the rising cost of energy, prescriptions, and healthcare, and the cost of raising a family. Democrats are focused on delivering on our promise to fight these rising costs. Manchin last week outlined the contours of a potential party line proposal he could support, one that would address inflation and deficit reduction, as well as make moves to lower prescription drug costs. Schumer indicated the Senate Finance Committee will hold a hearing this week on prescription prices. In addition, Democrats are working with Senate Republicans on bipartisan proposals so they can hopefully get this job done.
Folks, we've already authorized 4,000 projects all across the country, including 1,500 bridges in disrepair, and they're starting this year, not later, this year. And the law is going to create millions of jobs, rebuilding Americans' roads, bridges, highways, ports, and airports, getting rid of poisonous lead pipes, and 10 million homes and 400,000 schools so kids and families can have clean drinking water. Folks, we're investing $65 billion to deliver high-speed internet everywhere in America. Urban, rural, suburban, tribal communities. We can't be a country where a mother has to take her kid to the McDonald's parking lot to do their homework over the internet. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. And folks, the law is going to put an end to that, obviously, and it's only the beginning. Hundreds of billions of new investments are on the way. Today, Secretary Buttigieg announced $409 million in new grants, 70 new projects, 39 states, just the beginning. Electric buses to make bus service safer, more reliable, environmentally sound. helping folks in big cities, small towns get to work and get to school. Projects like a new $15 million bus maintenance facility serving Atlanta, $5 million to buy cleaner, more reliable hydrogen fuel cells for buses, replacing old diesel engines in southern Nevada, and so much more. It's now time for cities and towns to get ready. You don't have to wait until these infrastructure projects start. You're going to need more welders, pipe fitters, advanced manufacturers, and it takes training to get the job done well. And that's why all these programs, these apprenticeship programs, union programs. And by the way, when people talk about an apprenticeship program, we're talking like going to 4 years of college. It's 4 years. When I took office last year in the midst of the worst health pandemic in a century, the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, I knew we had to design a rescue plan with your partnership to meet your needs. 3 days ago marked the one-year anniversary I signed the American Rescue Plan. I learned as a councilman, I never have anything that's intended to be shared by the cities and towns that has to go through a state legislature. No, I mean it. The most significant investment in local government in all of history was in that plan. And frankly, you couldn't have gotten it done without your support and so many local officials around the country. I don't need to remind you the situation you all inherited in 2020, the pain, the disruption, the stress of your local budgets, requiring you to lay off cops, firefighters, teachers. So many people lost their jobs. And to remember the lines of cars stretching for miles in your communities, with families just waiting for a box of food to be put in the back seat of the trunk. Because of this law, we were able to help 41 million Americans put food on the table for the better part of a year. Because of this law, we helped keep a roof over 4 million people's heads. And it gave families what my dad would call just a little bit of breathing room in a tough time. And it worked. Because we took action, America added 6.7 million jobs last year. More jobs created in 1 year than ever before in American history. And hadn't stopped. We're now well over 7 million jobs, 678,000 just last month. The unemployment rate is down to 3.8%. The economy grew at 5.7% last year.